Finding angle measures given two intersecting lines. So with this one in the figure below, and I'm going to draw it over here because it's a little easier. Whoops, I gotta switch to a pen. So here's one line, here's another line. Easy peasy. We're just going to draw two intersecting lines, go like this, and label them exactly the way they have them here. So we have angle 4 equals 83 degrees. They're telling us this. So right here in the details, it tells us this. Now it wants us to find angle 1, 2, and 3. So first, we do need to come down here, and we need to get some definitions. So supplementary lines. Supplementary, sorry, not lines, angles. That was a silly mistake. Means they add up to 180 degrees. So this is one of the big ones we need to remember. Supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. So supplementary means that they're on a line together. So 4 and 1 are supplementary. 4 and 3 are also supplementary. They are on a line. Lines are also 180 degrees. So the other thing they want you to do, I think they want you to do supplementary all the way across, actually. So we will practice this one all the way around. So this is the one that they want us to use. So first they want us to go around in order, going to each one to find the angle. So if I use this down here, if I know that 1 and 4 are in a line and they have to add up to 180 degrees, and 4 is already 83 degrees, then I just subtract. I'm going to borrow here, and I have 7, and I'm borrowing again. I get 17, so I get 97. So angle 1 is 97 degrees. And then angle 2, so now I'm going to switch. I'm going to use that same rule. There's another line here, 180 degrees. But now I know angle 1 is 97 degrees. So if I subtract 97 from 180, what should I come back to? I should come back to 83 because I just did this. I'm just subtracting 97 instead of 83. So I should end up with 83. So if I borrow, I have 3, that's 17. So I end up with 83, just like I had assumed I would. So that's angle 2. So now I'm going to come over here. I have another angle. So I have an angle on 2 and 3. Or sorry, another line, saying angle. 180 degrees. That line has to be 180 degrees. 2, we know, is 83. So I'm going to subtract again. Well, haven't we already done this? We did this first, so we know it's going to be 97. So I have 97 degrees, I have 83 degrees, and I have 97 degrees. So if you see, there's a little bit of a pattern here. It goes 83, 97, then it goes back to 83, then 97. So this is actually teaching you also about vertical angles, which we'll learn in a little bit here. Oh, I got to log back in. So vertical angles are across from each other like this. Whenever you have angles that cross in an X, they get logged back in. Come on. Okay, perfect. Open exactly the same one here. So vertical angles are right across from each other. Whenever you draw two lines that cross each other like this, you can go right across and they will equal the same thing. So I can do the same thing this way. I can go across the vertex here and I have 97 and 97 right across. So it's just kind of a practice in this supplementary and vertical angles, which we will get in vertical angles a little bit more in the next few. I'm going to make that a little bigger and make that a little faster to erase. All right, so remember, supplementary means the angles add up to 180 degrees, and that just also means that they're on a line. So I'm going to switch my color here just so I'm not using orange the whole time. So I have blue, which is by chance the color that they use here. So we have 1, 4, 3, and 2. And then they tell us that in the figure, angle 1 equals 108 degrees. All right. So if we know supplementary lines add 180 degrees, and that also means that they're on a flat line together, like this. So 1 and 4. If I want to figure out 4, I know they have to add up to 180 degrees, and I'm going to subtract what I already have. So I'm going to borrow, and I'm going to end up with 72 degrees for angle 4. And I'm going to go ahead and type that in right now, 72 degrees. Okay, so let's go to angle 3. So now I'm going to look here. So I have 4 and 3, and they're on this one line together. I know a line is 180 degrees. If I have 72 degrees, I'm just going to simply subtract. So I'm just going to keep doing this round and round until I get all the way. So I know this is 108 degrees. And look, we came back to 108 degrees, didn't we? And they are across from each other, which is something I just talked about. We call that a vertical angle. So I know that 3 is 108. One more here. And what do we think it's going to be if we're practicing this vertical angle idea? It's going to be 72. That's what we should come up with. So let's test it real quick. We're looking at 3 and 2. They're on a line together, so we know they have to add up to 180. I have 108 because that's what we just found for angle 3. If I subtract, well, I've already done this. Didn't I do this for the first one? So yes, we are correct. It comes back to 72 degrees. All right, so we're going to click check. Yay. All right, we're going to go next. I'm going to erase. Okay. So we're going to go like this. Okay. So we have this written out, and they tell us in the figure below, angle 3 equals 129 degrees. So if we know that angle 3 is 129, we're going to go around and figure this out. So since I've already told you about vertical angles, we can already figure out what angle 1 is without having to do any calculations at all. They're vertical, meaning they're across from each other. I know vertical means up and down, but when we're talking about vertical angles, it just means that they're across the vertex. But if we called them vertex angles, that would be a little confusing. So we call them vertical angles because all angles have a vertex, so vertex angles wouldn't make as much sense. But vertical angles, it just means that we go across. So I already know angle 1 is 129 degrees. Just because I know that vertical angle idea, and we saw that pattern in the last two. So now I'm going to find angle 2 by looking at that line, which is 180 degrees, because if I look at 2, and I can even show you, just in case these other ones weren't clear. So here's a line, and 2 and 3, if I put them together, they cover that whole line. So they take up that whole line. They create that line. So I'm going to go back to my blue here. I'm going to subtract what I have. And I get 1, and I get 5. So I get 51 for angle 2. So again, if I use my vertical angle thing and I go across the vertex, right across, then I know 4 also has to equal 51. So we have 51 and we have 51. All right, let's check that. Perfect. One more. Okay, so I have 1, 4, 3, 2, and then they tell me that angle 2 equals 52 degrees like this. So I'm going to go right across. I don't even have to do any calculations. I know that 4 also has to equal 52 degrees. Again, that's called vertical angle theorem, which we are going to learn a little bit more about in the next couple, but because we saw the pattern, I'm going ahead and introducing it to you now. So we do need to figure out one other angle here using our supplementary rule. Woo, that was really ugly. I'm going to try to redraw that line. Let's see, can I draw that line a little straighter? Okay, so I'm looking at this line here. So if I know 2 is 52 and 2 and 3 together are on a line, which means they are supplementary, which means they add up to 180 degrees, I'm going to subtract what I have. And this will tell me what I have left. Sorry, that was supposed to be an equal sign. Equals. 138 degrees. Can I go across here also? Yeah, vertical angle. We can go right across, and we know that angle 1 is going to be 180 degrees. So if you don't like the vertical angle theorem, although that does make things a little easier, you just have to go around and subtract 180 each time to get from one to the other. So the vertical angle just makes things a little quicker because you don't have to subtract again in order to get to that one. Uh-oh, did I subtract incorrectly? Oh, dang it. I was busy talking and I forgot to borrow. See what happens? So okay, so now I fixed it. Sorry, I was checking my math again before I clicked check. So that was just my oops. I was busy talking and I was completely not paying attention to the borrowing. All right, so that means we get to try one more because of my mini little math fail there, but that's all right. These ones aren't too terribly bad. So we have 4, 3, 2, 1. And 4 equals 73 degrees, which they tell us right here. So they always give us at least one of the angles so that we can start working. So if we know 4 is 73, and I didn't draw this great, but I can go across the vertex here. So across the X here, so I always want to go across. So like, and that's kind of hard to show with my fingers here, but I want to go, I can kind of show that with my pencil. So I'm going up and down through the X that my fingers make. Or side to side. It can be a little diagonal too, but you just want to go straight across or straight up and down through the cross to the next one. So this one will also equal 73 degrees. All right, so we know angle 2 is 73 degrees. So angle 1, so let's go ahead and look at, I'm going to go ahead and look at 3 and 4 for whatever reason instead of angle 1. It doesn't really matter. We could have done angle 1 or angle 3. Either one is the same calculation. That's the other thing to realize in this. It is the same calculation. If I go this way, 4 and 3 are in a line, which add up to 180, and I have 73 degrees because that's what angle 4 is. If I were to look at it this way for angle 1 and 4, they're still in a line, which means 180 degrees. I still have 73 because I'm still dealing with angle 4. So either way, it is the exact same calculation. I'm going to subtract. And this time, I am going to pay attention to my borrowing. So we end up with 107 degrees. So we have 107 degrees for angle 3. So this one, oops, so this one equals 107 degrees. And because I can go across the vertex, I know that this is 107 degrees. And remember, I just talked about that too. It's the exact same calculation. You would subtract 73 from 180 for this side. If I were to flip it and look over here, I'd still subtract 73 from 180 to go to angle 1. So both of those angles end up 170 degrees. All right. So another angle, or sorry, another topic down.